basic. How are we able to resolve in terms and how you are going to do it, not with data, but in terms of practicality? One, insecurity in the country. Two, issue of inflation, budgetary deficit, unemployment, infrastructural decay, oil subsidy, and the last one, how will you resolve a sector problem in Nigeria?
I think, with the permission of the president, we would like to take all the questions together and then he can answer. Okay, please talk. The guy in the black suit. Please keep it short and simple so that we can.
My name is Saeed Ahmad. NMA National Committee Chairman on Biomedicals, and I'm from Lagos. I have a question. The comment I have with the indulgence of the President is extremely important.
Please, you're from
NMA. Mr. Sowore, sir, thank you very much for an excellent delivery. The short comment I have is...
Comment, no question.
Mr. President, sir.
One question.
Question, just give a question, please. Colleagues, please, I think we can understand. The presidential candidate would like to take questions. Please leave out your comments. Just ask the question. He has the right to make comments. Just ask your question, please. Just ask a question so that we can move on, please.
Mr. President, sir, with all due respect, it's a national discourse. I will step down my contribution if I cannot comment. Thank you.
Please give the microphone to the next.
Thank you, Mr. President, and our guest. My name is Dr. Usman Abba, and I'm from Yobe NMA. I want to ask a question on security. Mr. Presidential Candidate, sir, in your own belief and opinion, do you think when you are elected as the president, will you consider giving amnesty to the various militant groups across the country, or you think you should arrest and try them? If you think they should be arrested and tried, why? If you think they should be given amnesty, why? Thank you very much.
Okay, that is the second question. Dr. Okwe. Okwe.
From NMA, please.
Mr. President and the House, my name is Dr. Ukwe, National Chairman, Investment and Project. Now, my question is this. If elected as the President of this country, would you want to remove subsidy on petrol? And if you do, how do you intend to fund the private sector to drive the economy of this country? Thank you very much.
The man on this side, on white there, we haven't taken this one, yeah?
There's no woman.
Thank you very much, Mr. President and the House. My name is Samuel Okemide. I'm President of ALD Lut. I just want to ask Mr. Sowore, excellent delivery today. Would you be willing to partner with other political parties so that you can probably take power from this current government? Thank you very much.
Dr. Ibekwe.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sowore. My name is Dr. Titus Ibekwe, Professor of ENT and the Chairman of the Research Committee. I want you to tell us practically how you're going to reverse the brain drain in the health sector, which you reiterated from your opening remarks. How are you going to turn it around into brain gain for Nigerians?
Tiger.
My name is Dr. Sowore, the chairman of National Committee on Emerging and Emerging Diseases. And I want to be on the side of the neglected groups. Our presidential candidate, what is going to be your position on the issue of lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender when you become the president? Thank you.
I would have loved for there to be a question from a female doctor in the house. So if there's any one of you who would like to ask me a question, I'll take that. I take very serious approach to how we keep integrating and promoting our women in our life and culture. I have realized that medically, women are living longer in Nigeria, so we better respect them. I asked 20 of my friends recently where their fathers are. They're all dead. Their mom is still alive. So we better just make the world a better place for them. Dr. Titus Ibekwe, he said you deal with an ENT, and you are asking me about brain drain, how we can turn it to brain gain. And I'll say that first and foremost, where were you when our president was having ear problems? I had to go to the UK for it. So I just put some cotton board in his ears and remove whatever is blocking it. With regards to brain drain, I don't think it's something you can reverse physically. This is going to be an issue we will resolve with technology. And when I say technology, is to find a way, and I mentioned telemedicine earlier, by which immediately Nigerian doctors who have left can be brought back, telemedically to help people at home. And I've seen this work very much. That's immediate. Long term is remuneration. There's no doctor who left Nigeria now is receiving maybe $5,000 a month, who is going to come back to 154,000 minimum wage for doctors. Even if you are cost, your family will not allow you to return to the family compound. If you just return overnight and say you want to come and help Nigeria. But there are so many ways we can do so, and I think technology, which emerged even during the COVID pandemic, showed to people that you can be a doctor 10,000 miles away and still treat people very well. Because there was a time that the US, all the hospital beds were filled up and doctors were treating people over the telephone. In fact, it will surprise you that some of the solutions to the treatment of COVID came from Nigerians. Not outside the country, but in Nigeria. There was a guy who detected that medicine, I forgot the name, who discovered that it was working. And it turns out that it was one of the earlier solutions to the problem, when big pharmaceutical companies were making a big deal and making lots of money and taking advantage of people. So that would be it, but the most important thing is to have an environment where doctors thrive. Not only payment of good salaries and wages, you have serious allowances that they are supposed to get. One of them is called hazard allowance that you never get paid. And to provide doctors with special housing programs. When India wanted to bring back their doctors that had left over the years, they built them cities meant for them to reintegrate back to the Indian society. They put them in gated communities and got their children to come back. It's the doctors and their children that made India to become, not doctors, but the professionals that made India to become very, very prosperous today. So it's not going to happen overnight, I won't lie to you. But we will deploy technology first and foremost, and then gradually start bringing back people. And I can tell you, and I'll say this here, there are a lot of Nigerian doctors out there who are also tired of staying outside. But they can't come in when they cannot be guaranteed of their safety between the airport and even the hotel they are going to stay in. My father-in-law retired as a doctor in the US. He was one of the highest professionals at Harlem Hospital in New York. When he came back, when he was retired, he said he could still give 10 years of free time to the medical industry in Nigeria. When I met the governor of the state, they were not interested. They were not interested in healthcare because they don't go to your hospital. Why would they care about doctors who are volunteering? So there are plenty of them who also want to come back. But this country must be made safe, and habitable for any professional for that matter. That's on brain drain. On the issue of lesbians, gays, and all the multiple letters that you have mentioned, Nigeria's problem is not who is sleeping with who in their bedroom at this time, in my view.
Thank you.
In fact, it is the stupidity of our leaders to be making laws about things that don't affect them that make the issue of lesbian gays to become very popular. And I'll say something to you here, I'm not afraid to say it. Most of the people who even made that law, they themselves are gays in this country. A lot of our leaders are homosexuals. I'm not making fun of them. It's their right, as long as it is not something that affects society. Our problems are so serious. Dabbling into who is sleeping with who should not be something that we're wasting our time on at this time. And since they made their gay laws, who have they been able to jail? The most popular person in this country among youth is a cross-dresser, Bobrisky. They even invite him to come to their houses, to invite him to their parties. The same people who said they don't want gays are promoting the culture. But the thing is that everybody have a right to sleep with whoever they want to sleep with, as long as there's permission granted on both sides. I don't want to waste my time on who is sleeping with who. I want to waste my time on how people can go to sleep in peace. And there was the question about partnership with other political parties. If you are reading newspapers, watching TV, and you are on the internet a lot, you would have heard that one of the greatest political alliances happened about 3 days ago. We entered into an alliance with Nigeria's oldest political party that's very radical. A party that was established by Aminu Kano, known as the PRP, the People Redemption Party. We are the only political party in this election that's entered into such a large alliance that has North versus South implication. And I don't know what else we can do. What I'll tell you is that I cannot get into an alliance with the PDP, and I'm sorry for those of you who are in the PDP, or the APC. I cannot do that in good conscience. But we are ready to align with any other person. And the greatest alliance we need in this country is the alliance of the oppressed. That's what we need. I don't want to be a person who's PDP this night, and by the time I wake up tomorrow, I become APC. That is not alliance. That is chameleonic appearance. The issue of removal of subsidy. The truth is that I am not saying it because it's what I want to say or what I like you to hear. The people that are being subsidized are the so-called private sector criminals who have contacts in government. Nobody is subsidizing anything in the oil sector. Do you know why there's no subsidy? In this country, 450,000 barrels of oil is reserved for local refining every day. They still take it out on a daily basis. It's meant to be refined to cushion the effect of our inability to repair our refineries. What I will do is to immediately fix our refineries. If we fix our refineries, there's no way we will not be selling, we will not have surplus to sell even to the West African region and by extension, the world. If you go to the US, there is a gas station known as a Lukoil petrol station. It's owned by Russia. That's why they sell the Essex crude. Because the moment a barrel of crude is distilled, you get over 6,000 products from just distillation of one crude, including the Vaseline we use this morning, your shoe sole, your tie, the tie and dye that's used in your shirt, they all come from petroleum products. How then do you claim that you are subsidizing something when you take out crude of how many barrels and you only bring back petrol? Where is the 5,999 of the products left? It's a lie. And if you want to know that this whole cost subsidy thing is a scam, are we subsidizing petrol? Is it available? Kerosene, is it available? Are they subsidizing Jet A1 fuel? Are you not still delayed at the airport when they say there's other? And their argument is that if you remove subsidy, the products will be available in large quantity. The ones that we are not subsidizing, why are they not available? And why is it that the profit we are making for the ones that are unsubsidized, like diesel, why is it not showing in our daily lives? So we are only subsidizing petrol because it's their last point of fraud in the country. And I tell you, regimes after regimes in this country have been fraudulent and defrauding the Nigerian people, and I can say it anywhere. It's not because I'm saying it for politics, it's because as a reporter, investigative reporter, I was the one in 2012 who exposed most of the subsidy scammers in this country. We found out in one situation that a ship that had sunk 10 years before was bringing fuel to Nigeria. That has to be a miracle. For a ship that had been under the sea for 10 years before 2012 was registered to be bringing petrol into Nigeria on a daily basis. So that is what they do, and that's what they continue to do. Inflation. What we must ask is, what is driving inflation? There are a number of reasons why inflation happens in society. And one of it is wage pool inflation. When they pay workers very well, they claim it causes inflation. But why is there inflation when you are not paying workers very well in Nigeria? It is because we are not producing most of the goods and services we consume. And also because we don't have the kind of infrastructure that can make life easy. So if you want to bring tomato from wherever it is grown in the north to the south, it doesn't get there in 3 days. By the time it gets to Lagos, the train is spoiled. We don't have the kind of infrastructure that can move our economy around. And there's also a problem of insecurity. But who are the causes of this insecurity we are talking about? Government. Any kind of insecurity that you are seeing in Nigeria today is the kind of insecurity that has become profitable. And the moment people start making money from insecurity, the insecurity can never end. So without replacing this personnel that is causing insecurity, you are wasting your time. You're talking about health as well. Our brother from Lagos who was asking the question. Health care delivery is not something you do with charity. It is something that is compulsory investment. Ask yourself, what percentage of our budget is spent on the healthcare industry, sector? It is infinitesimal. And until we address that, until we address investment in health, education, and holistic investment that can improve human security and betterment, you are wasting your time. And we have said as a party, because before you say that I'm only telling you about the problems, that we make this investment. In fact, we are the first political party that put on a website, and it's on my website, Sowore2023.org, how we intend to address all these issues. We put them there, all the issues. And we did not plagiarize our manifesto. It was written by me and other members of the platform. You know, the other candidates don't even know what's in their manifesto. Because they went and plagiarized it they took some from Malaysia, South Africa, joined it together, and they presented it and they claim it's the manifesto. And when you ask their candidates to present it, they fall sick. Dr. Usman Abba, you talked about amnesty, and I will address it this way. First, look at the various security problems in Nigeria before you understand how to solve them. In the northeast, you are dealing with terrorism. In the northwest, we are dealing with banditry. In the southeast, we are dealing with agitation for nationhood. It's different from terrorism. If you go to the southwest now, they are also asking for their own nation. It's different from banditry. and then there's general crime. But what I will say is this: any kind of insecurity, crime, terrorism that has lasted for 10 years, you have to have different attitude to resolving them, and one of it is amnesty. If you cannot defeat them, you can talk to them. And when I was a journalist, I used to talk to all the militants in the Niger Delta region. Most of their leaders. And I knew when they were tired and wanted to get away. We were lucky that when they got tired and they were tired of fighting, the government gave them amnesty. That's what at least reduced the issue of the Niger Delta militancy. As a reporter, I also used to talk to Boko Haram leaders when they first started. Their agenda wasn't to be like this. It was the Nigerian government that messed it up by killing their leaders. Same thing they did with the Yoruba Nation leaders. They thought by driving Sunday Igboho to Benin Republic, the problem is over. The problem has only gone under. It will still resurge. Because as long as people cannot find meaning in the country called Nigeria, they will try to find meaning in their own section of Nigeria. That's the truth. So you cannot use guns to solve all the security problems. Yes, we can buy guns, we can bring in drones, you can shoot and kill people at weddings even when they are innocent. It's not going to solve the problem. We are putting more problems on top of each other. So in some instances, we will use negotiation. We don't necessarily have to call it amnesty. The biggest insecurity in Nigeria today, quote me, the biggest bandits, terrorists in Nigeria are those people in government. They are the ones promoting the insecurity you are seeing in Nigeria. It's the army generals who are making billions from insecurity. They will never allow it to happen. Anytime insecurity becomes business, it can never end except to remove the personnel involved in insecurity. That is why amnesty is an option. But Nigeria, that defeated the ragtag army in Liberia and Sierra Leone and restored peace to a lot of African countries that went to war, should also be able to defeat all these ragtag terrorists, kidnappers, bandits. But ultimately, we must defeat the terrorists in government. You can't escape that. And I think the last question is funding of the private sector. I wanted to say, and I'll say it again, you must determine whether what they call private sector in Nigeria is private sector. You understand? So many of these private sector buzzwords in here are names for getting contracts. They are names for taking a large portion of our commonwealth. They are not private anything. If somebody bought a power station from the government at giveaway price, and the person goes back to the government to get loans, using his government as a collateral for it, and when he cannot pay the loan back, the government takes over the loan through AMCON. It is not private sector. It is private robbery. So you must understand how private sectors work in other countries. What we say in our party is that we don't hate the private sector, but we do not like the idea of a private sector-driven economy. When the private sector is using the public money as a private capital. It doesn't work like that, and it should not work like that. And that's where we differ from those who talk private sector as if it's one magic bullet that can solve all our problems. We have seen what private sector has done to this country, and we know that it has not worked for a majority of our people. On that note, guys, thank you so much once again for the opportunity to interact with you. And I see you 2023. When else I come to your conference, I'll be the President of the Republic of Nigeria.
Round of applause, please, for him. Thank you very much.